Hello everyone, it's Jaden here for Student Pages. Hope I've caught you all doing well once again. Today we are here with two of the members of Jawbone. How are you guys doing?
Good, thanks, Jaden.
Good, thank you.
Yeah.
Beautiful stuff. So if you guys could just quickly introduce yourselves, let everyone know what you are and what you do.
All right, my name's Marcus. I'm a guitar player and singer in Jawbone.
I'm Paddy. I play keys and sing in Jawbone. We both the principal kind of songwriters for the band as well.
And the other two aren't here is Evan Jenkins on drums, and then we've got Rex Horan, who's on bass and also sings.
Beautiful stuff. So you guys have just released your second studio album, I believe, which is Jawbone 2. Can you tell us what inspired the creative process for that album and what can fans look forward to from it?
We made the first record in 2017, or at least it came out in 2017, and that was the sort of birth of the band. So me and Paddy had this idea to write songs together because we worked together for years in different things, other people's projects, recorded together on people's albums. But we wanted to do something together. So when we had written that stuff and we got Evan and Rex to become part of the band, that first record was actually just still quite experimental, seeing what it was we could do as a unit. With this second record, we were had a way bigger identity as a band. So it was actually the inspiration for making it was like, all right, we actually know what Jawbone sound like now. So we could write songs with the sound of the band in mind, which was really cool. I really enjoyed that, having that vision.
Yeah, absolutely. And that sort of came, I guess, after several years of sort of sporadic touring here and there. Like we did some good European tours and some dates around the UK. And like Mark said, it helped solidify the band. And suddenly we had something we could write for, as opposed to, just trying to write something that we were going to attach a band to.
Yeah, very cool. So you found like your identity and your voice and in the way that you do your music. That's great. No, that's awesome. So if you had to stem it back then, way back to the birth, how did you guys get into the music industry?
That's a big question that goes way back.
Open-ended.
I mean, yes,
Come on, Patchy, start.
No, it'll be different stories for the both of us, obviously. But no, I'd always loved music, and believe it or not, loads of kids, most kids in the country, their sort of first entry point to music is at school, and mine was through like playing the recorder. And I know, rock and roll, right? But yeah, I loved playing the recorder at school, and my parents saw that I was into music, and you know, very fortunately, they bought a piano for the house and got me piano lessons, and that was my start. Started off learning classical piano and discovered the blues about the age of 11, and that was it for me. Just it opened up the floodgates really to wanting to learn more and more about music. The more you know, the more you realize you don't know. Yeah, I'm still very much in an exploratory kind of mode.
Mine's similar to Paddy's. It's just less recorder, no recorder, just a bit less recorder. I was same sort of thing. My parents are big music fans, so we listened to a lot of music in the house. Kind of all we really did. All my early memories is just listening to records with them, and it's their music. Bands like the Beatles and the Stones, Cat Stevens, Joan Baez, people like that. So when I was lucky at school, the borough I lived in London, everyone got a free music lesson around the time they were about 8. It was amazing. There's a lot there's a lot of musicians around of my generation who all came through that sort of way where, you know, I don't know how long that scheme lasted for, but it's not around now. Yeah, we were all allowed to have a music lesson, and I wanted to play the trombone. I don't know why, I just had this fixation on that instrument. It looked really cool. Sounded quite cool, but I've been a bit naughty that day, so I didn't get to pick first. I basically studied the trumpet till I was about 18 and thought my life was going to be playing in orchestras and brass bands and doing that. And then at about 15, I picked up the guitar to join a band with my mates, and my focus just sort of shifted, and I was able to play all the songs that I'd heard when I was growing up and all the songs that was coming out in the 90s that me and my friends were into. I just found this, the guitar gave me so many more opportunities to write music and to collaborate with people in that way. So it just sort of became my life after that.
Yeah, I was going to say, you've started out with some pretty interesting instruments there. Like, I've never heard them ones brought up before. That's proper interesting. If you had to describe Jawbone's music, how would you describe it? What category would you put it into? What genre?
I never know what to say when people say, because I always think like it's going to show my age a little bit, but I always think like where would it be in the HMV sort of category of like, where would it be? And you probably find it in the rock section, rock and pop section kind of thing, because it sounds, our influences are a lot of the bands that you'd find in there, bands like the Beatles, the Stones, Little Feat, Crosby, Stills, Nash, Neil Young. So I suppose we are a rock and roll band. Because the other thing is as well, the four of us all come from quite different, as you've heard from me and Pads, we come from different musical backgrounds. Rex and Evan also have, you know, a different pathway to us as well, and have brought a load of different influences with them. So I think it's quite eclectic. But I think the answer you were probably hoping for was we're a rock and roll band.
No, it sounds like you're a bit of a blend, really, that you might try and, you know, mix up the genre every now and then.
I mean, a lot of people say it's kind of got an American sound to it, and I think that comes from the 3-part harmonies that we do, which definitely,
we like a lot of American music as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Love a whole load of American music. Yeah.
If we're talking about the band then as a whole, how would you guys say the response has been from people that you know to you guys forming the band? Has it been a very supportive process? Of the people around you been saying this is great, or have you had any naysayers who you've had to go, shut up?
That's all been pretty supportive,
I
right?
think so. Yeah, no one's told us to stop or we shouldn't do it. I got to say, when we did our first gig, do you remember that first gig we did, Pads, in King's Cross? I can't remember the name of the venue now. It was early on. Surya. That was that was a nice gig, and we had essentially, because we just started out, the audience was mainly our friends, and I was really blown away by the response after we did that gig, because I think a lot of people have known me and Pads and Rex and Ev individually doing stuff with other people, but had no idea what it would sound like if we got together. And I think I got the feeling of like everyone was pleasantly surprised that it was what it was, if you see what I mean. Because when we'd started the process, me and Paddy as well, trying to write together, that didn't come very easy. And the first few sessions, well, quite a few sessions, we just couldn't quite get a song finished. And we were I was slightly disheartened by it, because I thought it was going to be easy, because we got on so well on every other sort of aspect of music. So yeah, it's been a great process, because it hasn't been an easy process, but then once we got it flowing, it was. And I think when people sort of first saw it, they could kind of see that the band is just 4 people. It's like why you got in a band in the first place. It's just 4 people who like each other and enjoy playing music with each other, and that's what comes across.
I think it's quite nice because, you know, Marcus has had a, you know, pretty successful solo career prior to Jawbone. I've given it a good go.
Yeah, no, yours was good, man.
But I think the band does not sound like Marcus as a solo artist, me as a solo artist, and the guys. It sounds like something new. Yeah, it's greater than the sum of its parts in that sense.
Yeah.
No, I like that you mentioned that you guys actually like each other, because it's like there's so many bands obviously that are always on each other's necks, and no matter what they think, it does come across in, you know, the way the music presents itself and stuff. It does. It can't not. You know, I think a lot of people overlook that. So no, I think the fact that you guys have a really solid foundation between you is very, very important, and I'm very glad that you have that.
I think it comes from also like maybe that we do get together quite sporadically. We're not in each other's pockets all year. We have to pick very specific points when everyone is free, and the good thing is everyone makes time for it. So we have these intense moments of being together, really enjoying it, and then we might not see each other for a few months because everyone goes off and tours with someone else, and then we come back and it's like we genuinely have missed each other's company, but as importantly, missed playing music together. So everything's got this joy attached to it that I really love.
And it's always been the music first with this particular group of people.
The friendship second.
No, it's good as well, because again, obviously knowing each other and having a good connection is important. But yeah, I think having a love for the craft, that's gotta be there. You know, again, there's a lot of people. I've always said this. There's a lot of people who have the talent, but then just aren't really passionate about it. And I think that always comes across in the music that ends up being released. Are you guys very present in the online reception scene of music? And if so, have you ever had any sort of, I don't know, criticism, I guess? Because, you know, obviously the online space is dire out there. So I don't know if you've had to face any trolls or anything like that online.
Hasn't been too bad, has it?
I haven't read an online comment for about 15 years. I just don't know.
Oh, brilliant.
But Paddy takes care of all of that stuff. So how are we doing, Pads?
To be honest, I can't think of a single kind of real negative comment.
That's good.
I think some people have come to our music come to Jawbone's music through either Marcus's music or my music, and sometimes they're expecting something that's more similar to, you know, either of our things, and that there's been a couple of comments like that saying, "Oh, this isn't what I expected," kind of thing.
Good.
Which is exactly it's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, nothing negative at all that I can remember.
No, that's good, because you don't want people to say, "Oh, I'm glad this is just the same thing again," because then what's the point in doing it together? You know, it's like, if you're just gonna do the same thing, just keep doing it on your own, you know?
Yeah, for me, I found the world of online comments kind of pointless, because we go out and play enough music in front of people, and we're very much like available when we're at the concerts. It's not like we disappear off somewhere. We're usually out having a coffee beforehand or having a drink afterwards. We're there, so people can freely come up to us and tell us exactly what they want to say, and we'll gladly listen. So, and in those instances, all I ever get is positivity, and it's lovely. I never get someone personally coming up and saying something they might write on the internet negatively.
Yeah,
they've got the opportunity to. They just don't do it. So I just don't trust those things.
Yeah, no, it's wonderful. It's definitely better, because again, I've had people that have online presences that just receive the most awful stuff, and I just steer clear. You don't want it, you know. It's better, you're better off without.
Yeah.
But yeah, so have you guys had any real life experiences then that you think have made its way into your music? Is there anything that you've written about or sung about that's come from quite a personal place?
I would say they all are.
Yeah,
In
a sense,
yeah. Especially the first record. I remember us writing about some quite specific moments that we'd shared, like funny ones or serious ones. I remember us focusing on that as a good jumping off point to start writing, or at least to start working out how we would write together. And then with the second record, because we already had a flow, and we now, me and Pads, write together very naturally and very easily. Yeah, a lot of it was just like Pad said at the start, us having a chat over a coffee. We'd always start every session sitting down. I go over to Pad's house. He's got a lovely piano. He's got a lovely place. It's really nice and relaxing. We have a coffee. We catch up. We talk about stuff. Invariably, the conversation meanders to somewhere that sometimes ends up in the song without us even really meaning to do it, which is quite nice.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I can't give a specific example. There's probably loads in there, but
yeah, I mean, you know, Warm Up That Cup, for example, is very specifically about the idea of people getting together and just having a chat and talking about life. And in the song, we've kind of used fictitious scenarios, but the idea is very much about what we were doing in that very moment, just getting together, having a chat about friends, about life, about work. And yeah, that's exactly what we wrote about in that song.
Yeah.
Oh, that's lovely. So, Paddy, you say you were more involved with sort of the online side of things. Do you guys have much of a social media presence? And if so, do you recommend it to artists? Do you think, oh, it's good to have a, you know, social media presence? Or is it one of those where, no, just there's no point, steer clear, it's better without?
I mean, to be fair, I think Marcus has been driving the...
I have been posting a lot of stuff. I've learned how to do that now.
Okay.
Yeah, so I can, I'm very much transmit.
All right.
Else, but I know how to get on there and like, because I'm proud of what we've done. So I obviously want people to, and I understand that people hear about things through the social media feeds. That's how people are alerted to stuff now. I mean, we still have a mailing list that I'm very sort of active with, making sure that we send out mail, because I still like old school things like that.
I think it's still really useful.
Sort of telling people where they can get stuff, but I also understand that people like to experience stuff in a different way. For example, I hear about all of my gigs now off of Spotify, because it does that whole matching up the gigs with the albums that you save. So I'll listen to some gigs, and suddenly it pops up and it's like, so and so is playing here, and you're like, I never would have known. So it's great. I'm all for this kind of way of doing it. So I think it's important that bands do promote their music in all different places, because their audience experiences it in all different places. I think it's how you use the social media that is. It maybe there's pros and cons to how available you want to make yourself to people.
And obviously there's different levels of use as well. Like we're probably using it at quite a basic way, but I know there's going to be lots of clever ways you can use it to really maximize it, and we haven't quite delved into that. And I mean, it's kind of a full-time job as well. I mean,
it's time consuming.
It takes a lot of time, and
takes time away from making music as well and writing, and that's the bit that I struggle with. Is I take my massive interest and enjoyment out of the creation process, and then I really have to like command up a feeling of enjoyment for everything that happens after that, because the release of a record, as exciting as it is for me, doesn't push the same buttons inside me as the making of the record. And everything that comes with the promotion side of things, I always feel a bit like it reminds me that I want to be writing and creating again. So it's difficult. It's a difficult place to be sometimes.
Yeah, no, because it's a helpful tool, but like you say, there's so many things you'd rather be doing than posting on Instagram or whatever. You know, it's like, yeah, no, I totally
Also,
can get what you mean with that.
I feel like we genuinely have posted everything that we need to tell people.
Yeah.
So there's this immediacy of like, so what you got to post something else today. It's like, well, I've not got anything else. We've told everyone about everything for now.
I guess like that endless creation thing is another approach to it, isn't it? Where, you know, you're regularly recording and creating content to post. But yeah, that's not really the way Jawbone operates, you know, because we are very busy with, you know, touring with other artists and other situations.
I think it's a choice as well, Pat. I think we've made a choice to just not be as present on social media as other people are sometimes, and I don't think we're alone in that. I think there's other bands that work in that way, and you know, I think it's doing what. If I suppose the question started with like, what would you advise people with? I think it's just do what you're comfortable with. Don't feel like I'm not comfortable with being that present, so I don't want to do it, so I won't. And I'm comfortable with the level that we operate at.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, absolutely. I think you guys are avoiding something that I call the word search theory. So I call it the word search theory because I feel like there comes a point on every social media page where they run that dry on content. They will make a word search themed around whatever they are.
Really?
And I'm just like, you know, that's when you've hit rock bottom, when you have to post a word search themed around what you do. I'm like, you're dry. Just admit it. Just admit it. You've got nothing. That's fine. You don't need to post anything. Just don't. Like, no one's going to complete a word search.
Yeah.
Paddy knows right now that I'm now all about, I love puzzles and crosswords. And suddenly now I'm really into social media because of what you just said.
Yeah, no, go on any brand page. Any brand page. There'll be loads for you. Loads.
That's my afternoon sorted. Thank you, Jaden.
No, of course. Anytime. So, in the wider music industry then, because obviously it's a whole kettle of fish out there, very difficult to break into. How would you guys say the level of importance is to find other people that do what you do and to find other creatives that do the things that you do?
Yeah.
I don't feel that it happens enough at the minute. Or at least certainly not with me. I don't feel like I've got a lot of creative people that I love working with, but meeting new ones is harder. I feel like and getting to, maybe that's because I'm not linking up with people in the ways that people link up with. What do you feel like you meet?
I love meeting people that I really dig, like at a festival or on, you know, on a bill on a night or something. That's when it feels exciting, when you see somebody that you know really like what they're doing and, you know, respect what they're doing. Yeah, I mean, where is the scene these days? I mean, I remember back in the day, there would be, more of a practical scene, bands playing the same venues on more of a circuit kind of situation.
Yeah, you're right, Paz. Those venues aren't there anymore.
And
actually.
you see the same bands playing the same circuit, and it's just different. You know, 20 years later,
there's less opportunity for bands to do that, I think, and then that means less opportunity. So, for example, the reason we did Jawbone is because of me and Paddy meeting on a scene. That's how we met Rex and Evan. We met them through exactly what Pad's just described. No, I wonder if maybe that is still happening. Maybe we just, you know, maybe I don't go out very much anymore.
Yeah.
You know what I think it is? I think it's the fact that we mentioned earlier in that social media connects everyone. But what's also terrifying about it is that it connects everyone. It's like, not only do you, you know, reach so many people, but there also comes a point where it drowns out everyone at the same time because there's that much saturation out there. You know, it's like it makes it so much easier to connect with people, but equally so much harder to connect with people.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you look at like the average attention retention on an Instagram reel, it's like a second or a couple of seconds. People are just just swipe in. And
I think you're right, Jaden. What you said there is just thinking about it. It's there's so much. It kind of means there's nothing because it's too much and it's too overwhelming, maybe. And I suppose trying to converse with people online, if everyone's doing it at once, you're never really going to be able to have that, like what Paddy was saying, that moment where you meet someone at a festival or at a show, and you might be able to spend half an hour chatting to them. It's a different kind of half an hour. It's quite a memorable half an hour, and an intense half an hour about talking about music that you might like. And that way, that's how collaborations start. A lot of the collaborations I've done has started with, you just find a musical common ground with someone that you didn't know, and it gets you excited, and you're like, well, maybe we could do something like that. I wonder, like you say, Jane, whether that can happen online, just purely in the way that a conversation has to happen, in text format.
Although, you know what, saying that, I think it's super useful for reaching out to people. For example, I've just been on a tour in America, and between us in the band, we managed to meet a whole bunch of people across that tour that we, prior to social media, we probably wouldn't have had a link, a way in to talk to those people or just make a connection. So it is great for that kind of situation where you might be in a town and you remember that there's a band you like from that town. You can drop them a message, or end up meeting for a beer or at a gig or something. So it's great from that perspective.
You guys have got the album out, Jawbone 2. You've got so much touring to do, I imagine. Is there anything else that you're currently working on that you want to mention, or is that all you're allowed to say for now?
Jawbone 3.
Jawbone 3, yeah.
And if I had to guess, there will be a Jawbone 4 after Jawbone 3.
I hope so.
Yeah, probably.
That is, I say hope so. I know so. Of course, we're going to do that. We're going to keep on going with it. And the reason we sort of numbered them is because we are quite sporadic with doing our stuff. We'll come together to do this because we love it, but we also have to find the right time to do it. So it's not like in 18 months' time there'll be a third record like a band might do. There will be a third record when it's ready.
Could be next year, could be the year after, or in 5 years.
We won't do it. We won't give you nothing till it's ready, until we think it's the best it can be. And that's what we'll do. So
we've just accepted that is the nature of Jawbone, isn't it? It's not going to be one of those things that is on a regular kind of cycle.
It's going to be irregularly regular.
Well, I mean, as long as you're doing it when you love it, I think that's the best thing you guys can do. So, I mean, Marcus, Paddy, thank you ever so much for talking with me. It's been an absolutely fantastic chat. Pleasure having you guys on, and best of luck with everything that you get up to.
Nice one,
Thank
Jayden.
you, mate. Been really
Thanks,
lovely
man.
chatting to you. Thank you.